Hey guys, my name is Chris Rickard. I'm a software developer and I started an agency around 10 years ago. I sold it last year and now I'm helping other developers start and run their own successful agencies. So I use Hype Fury to manage my Twitter account, which I've been quite active on over the last couple of months. It's certainly a big time saver for me, and I'll dive deeper into that. I also have a newsletter and blog called Dev to Agency, where I write more long form content on starting and running a client services business. So, how Hype Fury helps me is the recurrent posts feature would be the biggest part, I'd say. So initially, I started just with the normal scheduling of posts, but slicing it by categories and actually scheduling them at specific times per day worked really well for me. So obviously, the way that recurrent posts work is it runs through a category of tweets and it'll go down in order and it'll post them at whatever time you specify. But then if there's none left in the queue, it'll just keep posting. So it loops around, hence the recurrentness of it. But how I use it is not so much like that. I basically use it to schedule my days to tweet about certain categories at certain times. Now, you could achieve this using the normal scheduling concept, but I really like breaking my ideas up into the specific features I want to talk about. So when I say features, that's what the categories is used for. So I have six. I have this one about signing up to my newsletter, but ignoring that, I have six main ones, which is sales, marketing, quality, lifestyle design, project management, and general business advice. So I chose those categories based on the experience that I have and I've gained over the years, and also what I think my audience likes to talk about and hear about. So I didn't just pick them randomly. I went back and looked what I've previously talked about and what gained interest, and I chose them accordingly there. So what I do is I wake up in the morning and I'll have a certain day I'll write about a certain thing. So I'll write, 4 tweets or so about sales or 4 tweets about marketing and so on. And then I have it scheduled. So those certain categories will go out at certain times on certain days. So looking down here on Monday, we've got sales at 2 a.m., lifestyle design at 4 a.m., quality at 6 a.m. And this 2 a.m. isn't really 2 a.m. It's actually 2:03 a.m. So it's more lifelike. I've chosen to not have it specifically on the hour, but Hype Fury's UI sort of rounds it up and groups it into the hour buckets. So how I picked the times was looking through what times my audience on Twitter are most active. And generally, they're active when I'm asleep because I'm in Australia, and a big part of the tech community and Twitter community is in the US or other countries whilst I'm sleeping. So I've chosen those accordingly. I used a tool called Blackmagic, which is a Chrome extension. I use that tool to see what time my audiences are awake. In terms of what I put on each day, it's sort of whatever. I randomly chose it to distribute it across the week, but I also saw that my audience were most active during the weekdays, so I put the bulk of my important content between Monday to Friday. In terms of how I actually use the categories, I'll just jump into sales here. So I have 20 odd tweets that I've put together over the last couple of months since I've been using. And basically, I will look at this top one here, sales is a dance. Sometimes you lead, sometimes your client leads. So I come in and I do the tweet, and it'll go out once it hits the queue, and then I don't let it go out again as it is basically. So I won't let the same content go out more than once, which is the benefit of recurrent tweets, but that's not exactly how I use it. So how I like to use it is just grouping the category and then somewhere for me to also jump back in and repurpose the content. So I look at how the tweet performed. I look at the likes, I look at the impressions, the retweets, and so on. And if it's awesome, maybe I'll use that as a inspiration for the next tweet, which I'll then edit. So I'll go, replace post, and I'll edit it and make it a little bit more snappy or focus on a certain part of it. But basically, it's the same broad topic. If it didn't perform well at all, I might completely replace it with something totally different. But I don't use this concept to repeat content. I use it to allow me to section off content and schedule them at very specific times of the day. So what this also means is like, let's say for instance, someone mainly uses Twitter on Monday and Tuesdays because that's the days they're not working or something like this, then they'll consistently see from me sales, lifestyle design, business, marketing, and quality. Like these concepts are what's there. So I like the idea that certain days have certain topics at certain times as well. I don't let my content repeat and go out. As I said, I wake up in the morning and I have, in my to-do list, I've got, do 4 tweets on this category on this specific day. So I am always adding to the content, but I also use the existing content as inspiration. So if I'm writing about sales on a day, I can go down and I can look at the 20 odd tweets I've done about sales and I can see how they're performed. So I really like grouping them by topic because it helps me, stay on track, inspire me to get new ideas. And essentially, like I think it's a nice way to come in and just focus on one thing at a time. So yeah, that's how I use recurrent posts. I certainly recommend them. It's made my Twitter experience a lot easier, and I think my audience has got a lot more value from it as well. Cool, thank you.